SyngerBusiness.com podcast with Tony Rourke and Kevin O'Flaherty.
SyngerBusiness.com, making you money.
Share it on Facebook, share it on LinkedIn,
Twitter, our blogs, YouTube videos, listen to our podcast, getting so hot that it's burning up the stereo.
All right, welcome to SyngerBusiness.com. My name is Scott Mathis of Plateau to Peak, and we have EJ who's going to start hosting with us some. EJ, would you like to introduce yourself?
How you doing? I'm EJ. It's going to be great. I've been doing a couple of things like this in the past, and I think this is going to be an awesome adventure, working with Scott Mathis and Kevin. And we got two great people here, great business. It's the whole mindset of it all. It's amazing. I think we're going to enjoy and really enjoy this interview.
All right, would you like to go ahead and introduce them?
This is Charlie Williams, and this is Brad. I don't want to say your name wrong. Boskovik. What is that?
It's Serbian, actually.
Serbian.
So. Boskovic, if you want to pronounce it the Serbian way.
That's interesting. Very interesting.
I could mess it up the Serbian way. And your company is?
It's Digi-Wrap Incorporated.
All right, we'll jump right into it. What is Digi-Wrap? What do you guys do?
So we make digital tissue paper. So not tissue paper like toilet paper. A lot of people confuse that. They think, oh, you print on toilet paper. It's the traditional gift wrap that you think of. That goes in a bag or you wrap around a box or something like that. So we do a few other products as well, like gift bags, but the main focus is, at least for right now, is tissue paper.
Okay.
And hence that explains the name. You know, we're doing digital and tissue wrap, so it was very simple. Not a lot of brain cells lost.
How long have you guys been doing that?
Started the company last March.
Well, yeah. So actually, it was early February. We actually became official, and we kind of went nationwide with launching our website in October of 2014. And so Digi-Wrap's been basically doing business ever since then. But the product that the whole company's kind of based on, we've been actually developing for the last few years, working at where we actually met at a company named Lingraph. So we still, do a lot of business with Lingraph directly.
Is that a print company as well?
So that's a print company, and that's basically that was my personal first job out of college. So that's where I met Brad, and we started developing the product. And so it kind of spurred out of events that came from Lingraph. So Digi-Wrap in a lot of ways is just a spin-off of what we were doing at Lingraph.
Oh, so you guys fairly young? You just said you got out of college.
Yeah, so
He's fairly young.
Yeah.
I'm an old man.
Yeah, I graduated college 2010 from Illinois State.
Oh, okay, nice. It's good stuff. Yeah. All right, so we got the whole concept of the company. What was the transitioning like when you first started? How was it? Like, was it hard? Was it easy? Did you just pull out?
Yeah, so actually it's quite interesting. So Brad actually tells a really good beginning part of the story. So I'll let him take it over about how the product itself came.
Okay.
Yeah, so originally, actually, Lingraph, the company that we were working for, is actually my family's business. And, we're just all over the board at Lingraph. We do printing and packaging and embroidery and all kinds of crazy stuff. In fact, I'm wearing my other shirt. And so obviously you can tell I still semi-work there. But, we had bought our first press 15 years ago. And, you buy a press for one thing, and you end up trying to put anything through it.
You can.
And because we had like packaging products in the warehouse, I'm trying to print on, like corrugated boxes, and I put tissue paper through there, and just everything. And my first experience with tissue paper, whatever that was, 12, 15 years ago or something like that, we actually set it on fire. It was a little too, yeah. So at the time it was like, well, actually our operations manager was a fireman. So fortunately we had a fireman on staff. So that was pretty calm. Yeah. So anyway, the first attempts at it were just a complete failure.
Okay.
And it was kind of one of those things. Shelved it. Thought, okay, well that'll never happen. You can't print on that. And a decade later, a customer called me up and they were like, we've got this event and we want to, it's like the artist did all the art for it and it's like a famous artist or something, and we want to take their art and we want to put on tissue paper and put it in the bags that we have at this event.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, we've tried printing on tissue paper. How much time do I have? And they're like, you have 24 hours to figure it out. So I was like, okay. So I reviewed my notes and I was like, okay, maybe let's try this again. Let's turn down the heat and, do a bunch of other things.
And you were working there at the time?
No, this is actually, no, I was. This is just after I started. So
okay, gotcha.
I happened to be there for like the precipice of everything, so I was fortunate.
So did you see the fire?
So I wasn't there for the fire, so that's the part, yeah. So he
the original fire.
The original fire, I was not there.
Yeah. So anyway, managed to do it. I burnt like 500 sheets of tissue paper to get like 100 out, and
is it a laser printer? Is that?
So it's
why is it catching on fire? I'm just confused.
Well, it is. It's a digital press. It's
okay.
actually not it's kind of a fancy laser printer. I mean, the plate is drawn with a laser.
But
it's actually the presses we use are made by Hewlett Packard, and so they don't call it. You can't call it. Yeah, HB says don't call it toner. It's not a laser printer. Don't call it that. These things are $500,000 or more. So calling a laser printer is kind of diminishes its value a little bit.
Gotcha.
Anyway, you might hurt the press's feelings if you call it. They're very touchy. So
gotcha.
So anyway, we managed to get the paper out for this client in the 24 hours. I charged them just a ton of money for it, and they loved it. And they paid it. They paid the bill, most importantly, right?
No 30, 60, 90 on that?
Paid right like that, and I said, oh my gosh, I think we've got something here. Now, obviously, you can't burn 500 sheets to get 100, and the quality was, and we had all kinds of issues, and it took me all night to do it, just to get those 100 sheets. So, obviously, we knew we had something, but we just had to figure out, okay, how do we get this down to a science where we can pound this out of the machine. So that's when we kind of started looking at, okay, what can we do to improve this product,
And to EJ's initial question of, what did we first do to try to get this out there? And so once Brad had kind of went through this and kind of theorized, oh wow, there's something here, as I was saying, I had just started with Lingraph.
Okay.
And so I was my role was kind of, wasn't really defined. So it was kind of like, okay, I came the de facto spearhead of this project. So basically, Brad and I put our heads together. We had a couple very basic web tools we could utilize, and we're like, okay, let's throw this on Google AdWords, and let's just throw some money at it and see what happens. So basically, we had a very, very primitive merchant site with very archaic web tools, but we threw it up there and we said, hey, we'll see what happens. And it was funny because within 3 weeks, we had a handful of orders, and one of which was from Yahoo Incorporated.
Oh, wow.
So we're like, right away.
Corporate event,
Right away, we're like, oh man, this is crazy.
You have to do that one right.
Yeah, exactly. So we're like, okay, this has really got some traction. So we kind of, over the next couple of years at Lingraph, tried to really, perfect and fine tune the product itself, and as well as, you learn experiences from dealing with customers and things that worked, things that didn't, and you kind of, figure out
the press on fire.
Yeah, exactly. So you try a bunch of different things, and you kind of figure out what will and won't work. So that's kind of where the very beginning stages of our web presence came from.
So how are you separating yourselves from Lingraph?
Yeah, how did that transition happen? Because you're not Lingraph anymore.
Yeah,
correct.
That's your parents or your family.
Correct.
And you're still a part of that,
So
but you
we still
guys
use-
are
yes.
Digi-Wrap, right?
Digi-Wrap.
Digi-Wrap.
So we still use space there. The presses are still there. It's sort of, I have ownership in both.
Is it a love-hate thing?
It is a little bit of a love-hate thing. We kind of get in each other's way sometime, and there's a job that needs to go on the press, and it's like, yeah, but I got tissue to run. You're butting heads a little bit, but at the same time, we kind of share resources and things like that. Someday in a perfect world, we'll
branch off.
completely separate ourselves, but it is what it is.
It starts off somewhere.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
that makes a lot of sense. I kind of get the gist of it all.
So are you guys, how long have you been open?
So since October of 2014.
Is when we launched the site.
Yeah.
So 9 months?
And that's when we threw up, just a really slick website.
Right.
Started proper social media campaigns. Still doing a little bit of pay-per-click, Google AdWords and things like that. But we've really been able to ratchet that down and push more traffic through social media, word of mouth, other traditional means of marketing.
Marketing.
Exactly.
And basically, so to answer your initial question too, EJ, that's basically the difference between Lingraph and Digi-Wrap. Is what we decided to do was to take all the the trials and tribulations we had at Lingraph and branch off and become something that was more consumer oriented, a lot more aesthetically pleasing, easier interfaces, the whole kind of bells and whistles side of things, but still have the core product, the core production that we initially started with. So that was kind of to best of both worlds concept.
So did you guys buy your own presses and all that, or are you still using?
So basically, right now we're strictly marketing and distribution, and Lingraph is still the manufacturing side.
So that sounds like a big startup
Exactly.
expense and cost.
They're extremely expensive presses, and then you have extra equipment. There's things that have to be done to the tissue paper before and after it goes to the press. You can't just take a sheet of tissue paper and throw it in the press.
Is
And,
this
here
a
it is.
proprietary process?
It is. So actually, we have a patent. That was part of what we
Nice.
were working on for all those years.
Yep.
Was getting the. We didn't necessarily want to take it out into the world
And then
before
let
we
people
were
steal it.
protected.
Exactly.
Who do you guys? Who's your end user? Who's your consumer now? And how'd you find that end of it? Because it's cute. Hey, let's print on tissue, but great
Right,
idea. So
exactly,
can
right.
you?
Well, in some ways, we stumbled on it a little
Yep,
bit.
a lot of ways, too,
The
yeah.
Google AdWords allowed us to see, okay, who specifically is searching for this? Who's actually typing in short-run tissue paper? And you get a lot of chaff. You get a lot of the people
You
that...
said short run. Is there companies that already do big?
Oh yeah,
orders?
so we probably should have explained
We
that.
probably should have
We
explained
probably
that.
should have explained that.
Oh, and that's why we talked about at the beginning. Very organic conversation.
Yeah.
We
So so a little bit
there
of
is
background.
competition then.
So there is and there isn't.
So tissue paper is obviously getting printed right
Yes.
now.
because I was in the jewelry business for years, and
Yeah.
there were people that had it, and you had to buy 2 semi trucks full of it.
Exactly.
There you go.
You hit the nail on the head right there.
And you probably
And
waited
store
at
it
least
like,
a month.
and there were some name changes, and we bought out some stores. So if we had done it, you have to print it again and again and again. And so they were always at the jewelry shows, but you always had to have
Yep.
Right.
monster amounts.
Exactly.
Exactly right.
So quality isn't that good. It's a method for printing it called Flexo printing, which is essentially glorified rubber stamping. It's a cheap rubber plate, and then you splooge the ink on there, and you're going to do one color, maybe 2 color. You want like full color, like a photo or something like that. Forget it. It looks like just complete horse crap. I mean, it's not a nice looking product. And the plates are super expensive. It's $600 for a plate. And if you're registering full color process, I think they're, $1,500 up.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like,
So $2,000 in before you.
oh, exactly,
get
before
started.
you've even put ink to paper yet.
And that's,
So
that was
it's-
always a struggle.
Exactly. So there's a lot of things about tissue paper that, if you're, if you have a little event like the art gallery opening
Increase
or
the price
whatever,
down.
our product
what's
is
your
expensive
lowest-
per piece,
Yeah. But you can get 100,
Exactly.
200. What is your entry level for that?
We have no minimums. We can do one sheet. So we basically, it's a nice little
It's nice
tagline.
sheet.
So it's a nice little tagline that we can give to the customer. It's like, look, we have no minimums. I mean, obviously, the less you buy, the per sheet cost goes up.
Yeah.
But,
Whatever the setup fee is the same, and
And so
if you absorb that over 100 or 1,000,
Exactly,
per
so-
piece, it's a better deal. Yeah.
right.
Right, exactly. So that's kind of one of the reasons, we figured out there was definitely a place for us. And back to your question was, who do we sell to? A lot of people that were initially using the Google AdWords campaigns were small businesses and just businesses in general who were throwing events or small jewelry shops who wanted to look big, but they couldn't afford the truckload of tissue paper. So it started defining itself for us, and all we really had to do was kind of be there and kind of catch it. So and then learn from it. So there's been a lot of that. Now, as we've over the years, we've kind of figured out a little bit more target customers. That's something that either we still are trying to achieve. Obviously in the consumer sense, we're really big, and a lot of interest is in like the wedding areas because it's a big event that where budget may or may not be a huge concern.
Birthdays here and there.
Exactly. So that's really
My daughter's birthday's coming up. Can you give me some?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
I
gladly.
want one sheet.
Yeah, we can do that. Not a problem. So I mean, it definitely is a lot to do with events, be it business or consumer. So right now we're really striving to we've kind of figured out more or less the business side of things. So now we're working and taking strides and trying to get to the consumer side because we really feel that the product itself is dual purpose like that. It's not just for business. It's not just for consumers. It can be used in both. It just needs to be presented the right way and kind of interact with the customer the right way.
If this is something you're okay to open it up to for purposes of the person that might be out there watching, if I want one, what is one? What does it cost?
So so the minimum order, and we always say order at least.
Obviously, it'll be higher and all that.
Yeah. So there's a couple different things. We have 2 ways of currently getting our product. You can buy it from our website, and if you ordered 1 sheet, it's going to cost you about $10.
And your website is?
Well, we have 2. We have an informational site, but Digi-Wrap.com, and that's where you go and learn about the product. That's where we do our blogging. That's where you have our really dynamic images, where you can see the product. And then we have a store. You just click order, and then you go to our store, which is store.digi-wrap.com. Okay. So basically, those are the 2 avenues.
So if I got 10 is where you are.
Yeah. So basically, you can order from our store, and you get $10 for 1 sheet. Now, we usually say order at least 10, because for $25 you can get 10 sheets.
Sure.
So the price went down.
Yeah, so it
went drastic.
And the only reason the sheet cost is that high is the admin cost. You know, the setting of the art, setting it through production. For 1 sheet, there's not a lot there, so that's why we do it.
So if I'm at 100 or 1,000, then
it's the price going.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, usually in any given order, our target quantity is usually about 100 to 200 sheets, and somewhere you're usually between $1 to $2 a sheet, depending on size and certain things. So that's kind of what you're looking at. But you can also, if you really want, just 1 to 5 sheets, you can also order. We partnered with Zzzle. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Zzzle.
I've heard of Zzzle.
Are you familiar with Shutterfly?
Yes.
Okay, so
Shutterfly. My wife loves that.
So Shutterfly and Zzzle are major competitors. So
Shutterfly wins out with me.
Yeah, well, and most people that we interact with, they're like, Zzzle sees Shutterfly as their main competitor, and so they're kind of competing directly with them. But most people know Shutterfly, not as many I've found know Zzzle. But they're really taking strides to kind of differentiate themselves. Anyways, we have a partnership with them where you can also order our product through their site. So in certain quantities, it makes sense to order with them instead of us, and we're okay with that because
a discount for bulk.
And they're admitting the whole order.
Yeah, they're admin, and so then we can
deal with the complaints.
And they may buy just 10, but they might buy just 10 100 times a month.
Yeah, exactly. So we've set up basically a streamlined production process with Zzzle, so that you could order 2 sheets from Zzzle, and for your 2 sheets with Zzzle, it only costs you about $5-6. Whereas if you order 2 sheets with us, that's $20. So there are reasons to do one or the other. And their interface is a lot more consumer driven. It's a lot more consumer friendly. So they deal with the everyday person every day. We deal a lot mainly with businesses. So it kind of has a natural separation line there.
That's something that might be a great takeaway for whoever's listening. How did you make that relationship? They're a bigger company. They're out there, because people, when they first start out, they look at whomever, Yahoo. How'd you get Yahoo? How did you infiltrate? Did they call you? Hey guys, it's Yahoo. It's Mr. Yahoo. And how many did they order?
Is it a lot? Or a that you already have?
Yeah. So the Yahoo order, they were one of the pioneer customers for us. They were searching on, and it's funny because we signed up. They found us. And here's the best part: we signed up for Google AdWords before we did Bing, and at the time, Bing was doing Bing and Yahoo together, right? Or Ad Center, right? That was the thing. So we hadn't done that one yet. But they found us through Google, so that was really funny for us. It was like Yahoo Incorporated.
So Yahoo Googles too.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't buy Yahoo.
But yeah, so they had
anything away.
They had an event. They had an event where I believe they were giving away wine bottles for their big wigs at a corporate event. Sure. And they ordered, and I think they ordered about 100 sheets for this event for whatever the special occasion was, and that was it. But that was a one-time order with them, but that was initially when we're like, okay, if we've got their attention and people are looking of their prestige are looking for this product. Okay, there's other companies out there like
there's got to be somebody.
Yeah, and we've had a long list of customers like that. In fact, we ended up getting an order from Google maybe 9 months later. So we've had a wide variety of famous customers that have need the product, and then everyday customers too. So that they ordered only 100 sheets. Google ordered about 1,000 sheets.
Nice.
But they didn't reorder because they didn't need the event again or something. But we're always looking for repeat customers. We have plenty of repeat customers. Exactly.
Zzzle is.
And now
Zzzle is.
And
how did you find it?
So Zzzle is. Yeah. So again,
when we developed this product, it was like, oh my god, this is the coolest. This is the shit, right? Can I swear?
Yeah. Whatever.
We got to send this to everybody. Everybody's going to want to sell us. So we sent it off to. I sent it to Shutterfly, Zzzle. I can't even remember who.
A bunch
Minted, Tiny Prints, Boku.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like anybody that like fit a certain like. I thought this was gonna be awesome. I mean, I thought the calls were gonna be pouring in, right?
And they did, right?
And,
that always happens.
Right, exactly.
People are gonna love this.
Nothing, right? Like I thought I had the right person to send it to. You know, I did all the research. I like asked certain people in the industry, and I got nothing. And so that was, I don't know, 2 years ago or something like that. Well, all of a sudden, you know. 2 years later, I mean, this is last year in the summer.
So this is while we're actually
before you even open.
So we created Digi-Wrap, but we're in the process of launching it at the time.
Yeah.
So but we've started handling traffic and interest with Digi-Wrap, and so we've got this name out there, but we hadn't actually selling it through Digi-Wrap yet.
Sure.
And next thing we know, we get a phone call from Zzzle, and it's like, hey, we're interested in this, and so we were like, we tried to contact you a while ago, and it fell through, but by the time they finally it had to be their idea. What we learned was it had to be their idea. It had to have been their interest and everything. Yeah. So
it took years, but
yes.
Eventually got that.
Basically what they wanted was to come after you. They didn't want you coming after
exactly.
them.
And it's funny because we've seen that a lot. Brad was saying we would literally make high-end custom gift bags and with tissue and put all kinds of printed quality stuff in there and send it to these guys. And if you got a thank you call back or anything, that was the best you got. You know what I mean? Like you really can't.
Honestly, and being on the consumer end in the jewelry business for a while, and I had a few stores, and we would get 20 of those a day, all day.
Oh yeah.
And different ones to each store. And how do you go? Oh, this one's great. Oh God, you just shove them all in the trash because you get tired of looking at it. You go to conventions, you go to shows, and so it is really hard to.
It is.
Now, when you did with Zzzle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
With Zzzle, did they say it was based on the email that you sent them or the
No,
information?
it was. They basically said to us, "Who did you talk to?" Because basically
they're fired.
Yeah, like who let this go through the cracks? And it was I don't know.
It was probably me too. Shoving it in there. I 10 of these today.
Yeah,
10
exactly.
It's all to the side. So.
Yeah. So, so that relationship kind of happened. Not how we had planned it. We had drawn it up in the beginning, thinking we could get all this, and then it didn't happen. And then as soon as you start making other plans, other things fall into place. So it kind of worked out that way. So then we kind of did both programs simultaneously.
Are you going to branch into bags? You mentioned you put them in bags.
We actually
do. You do
so
bags?
we make bags for Zzzle. Actually, we don't sell them on the Digi-Wrap website.
No, that's a good question.
That's a very good question.
We do.
I have a couple of contacts when we're done here. I'll give you their information. A couple of guys in town. One of them does signs and photos and stuff. What's his name over on Main Street? Kevin.
Yes.
What's his last name?
Kevin
on Main Street. He's got a photo booth and everything. He might be able to help put up a display for you or something like that. And another guy that does high-end limo stuff, and he might be able to use it. But how do you, we got a couple minutes of anything that you'd like to tell everybody about some great experience or some great struggle, or I guess I'm assuming like everybody else, all entrepreneurs, you're wealthy, and you just wrote a check, you dropped a check, open my business, everybody, and then you open it, well, I thought retirement might be 2 years away, but I'm excited to hear it now. But is there anything, any struggle or any success that you'd like to give?
Any advice?
Any advice?
I mean, I have my own thoughts, and I'm sure Brad's got his too. I mean, this kind of came to my head when you said that, we're wealthy, and it's funny because when we started this company, it all came from actually. Lingraf had gone on hard times, lost a huge customer, and basically I had a great relationship with the family, but it came to the point where like, look, we got to let you go.
Yeah.
So at this point, it was like Brad and I got together and was like, okay, we have this great product, we haven't done anything with it yet. What do we do now? So it's either it's like crap or get off the pot. So it basically it forced me to kind of figure out what to do. And so for the year after I left Lingraf at the end of 2013, and for that year until we launched the company Digi-Wrap, I basically we lived off my wife's income, and we stressed it all
She's
back.
rich. That's it.
She's
rich.
So for me, it was
only rich people succeed.
Right. Exactly. So basically, for me, it was a huge risk-reward thing. It's like, look, I believe in this. I think we have a huge opportunity here. But it was a lot of work, and it took a lot of. We had to sacrifice a good amount. So for me, is trying to keep the passion and the enthusiasm up to keep trying to challenge ourselves to take the next step. And so we've got a lot of lofty goals in mind. And so it's for me, it's putting it in perspective and then taking it one thing at a time to kind of keep us going. Yeah. So I mean,
if I were to summarize that, you'd say to all new entrepreneurs or novice entrepreneurs, go ahead and take a crap because you're not going to get there otherwise.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, I mean,
basically back yourself to a wall and then be like, okay, well, the only way you're going to succeed is to get to the wall and hope that you can push yourself out.
Yeah, no place but up. Yeah.
And I say that facetiously, but everybody does think if you open your own business, oh, you must have come for money, or
Yeah,
you must
exactly.
be. And it is hard times, and it is difficult, and you've persevered, and now you're retiring in 2 years. Isn't that amazing?
If everything goes according to plan, yeah.
You're done. I mean, Zzzle just takes over and you're good.
And what about you? Anything?
Perfect. No, I mean, spot on there.
I mean, he's from Lean Wrap. I mean, he's part of it.
Yeah.
He has money.
He's right.
Exactly.
Even though he just told the story about their struggle.
Yeah.
And I think everybody around
That is
guy
just the
kinda
thing.
struggling,
I
you know?
mean, yeah, most people would tell you, you know, what are you thinking? You need to regroup and worry about your main business.
Maybe you need to regroup, but working on your main business may not be the. You know, I always talk to people and they go, "There's no way you can, as a small business, become a big business, and everything's been invented and everything's been done." They go, "Walmart, look, they've taken over the world." But what about that company called Woolworths, or what about all those that were huge and now they're gone? And so if you don't reinvent yourself, and it could be taking a completely different path.
Absolutely. I think without this adversity, this never would have happened. You know, I mean, Charlie was working at Regroup, and instead of focusing on tissue paper, you know, we had him like setting business cards, you know.
And you also
Was this 9-point type or 10-point type? I mean, that was the crap we were working on.
Yeah.
So this way, it sort of forced us to be like, okay, let's put all the chips on the tissue. Let's, you know,
Right.
let's do it.
And with that, you also help Leadcraft, because now you're giving them the business
Exactly.
for you and using their presses and getting all that. So one
Exactly.
fuel
So
the
it's-
other.
yeah,
And-
So you basically get paid.
I get paid twice.
You get
Exactly.
paid.
So I'm going to be
You
twice as
are
rich.
rich. They're both going to retire at the same time. His house is going to be bigger.
His house is bigger. That's what essentially happens.
Okay,
You know?
so what's the best way to reach you if somebody wants tissue paper bags or any other product that you have on there, or to make a relationship with
Give
you
me some
somehow?
websites, some contact names. Ooh, that was something I'm out there.
Contact,
websites.
Yeah, so I do all our customer service currently. So if you call Digi-Wrap, you're going to get me one way or another. And so the phone number there is 630-478-8783. And then our website is www.digi-wrap.com. That's DIGI-WRAP.
And the sales one was for the store?
And the store one you can get through from the informational site, but if you're interested in going straight there, it's store.digi-wrap.com.
Oh, nice.
All right, thank you guys so much for being with us today.
Well, thank you for having us.
This was great. Yeah, a lot of fun. Thanks, guys.